North Korea became popular recently with the launching of missiles, both long and short distance missiles. This got the attention of the United States of America, and they came to realize that there is no Superman, one Superman, no monopoly. As long as one person, a country, a group of people are able to have something to counter the attack of the other person, everyone all of a sudden begins to dialogue. And that is exactly what happened in the case of North Korea. North Korea would have been, pushed here and there, not until they decided for themselves to make sure that they also begin the process of having missiles that are both short range and not long range. Back in those days, Korea used to be one, not until they divided into North and South Korea. South Korea has more alliance with the United States of America, while North Korea is seen as a communist country and a country that is closed together. They do not allow tourists, and informations are not given out publicly. They are given out with specific details. Kim Jong-un is said to be at death's door after a terrified surgeon botched a heart operation because of his hands were trembling so much. This is an unconfirmed report. A Japanese weekly magazine alleges that the North Korean leader is now in a vegetative state after the routine stent procedure went horribly wrong. Other unsubstantiated reports claim that Kim has not been seen since April 11th and possibly died, and his death is being kept secret and quiet. The magazine Shukan Gendai cites a Chinese medic believed to have been sent over to the border to assess Kim. The report hints a delay in having the heart surgery has left Kim in a grave condition. It is also claimed that a team was dispatched from Beijing in the wake of the failed operation but arrived too late to save him. It is reported that the procedure to insert the stent failed because the North Korean doctors, probably out of fear, his hands were shaking uncontrollably, as he probably believes that he could be killed if anything goes wrong with the leader. The father of this man was the ruler, and it's like his family has held the nation of South Korea for a long time. And there is a possibility that he might pass the baton of leadership to his junior sister. He had half brothers, and one was killed not too long ago, as they claim that he's trying to sabotage the country. South Korea has tried as much as possible to break North Korea, but they've not been able to, as the government, the regime, the rulership of this man has kept the country tied up. In fact, this man is said to have even killed his uncle, who was trying to sabotage the country. Everyone wants to be patriotic one way or the other, but what gives you that courage, the need to be patriotic? It is either you are benefiting from that nation, but when you are tied down forcefully, it's a difficult situation. For example, you would not want to burn the American flag as an American. You might be charged for this. There are a lot of things that you cannot do. They'll say you are not patriotic and this is a crime. You are a saboteur. And being a saboteur, you might be spending some time in jail, or something very terrible might happen to you in any of this country where people claim democracy, is. Not to talk of countries where they have dictatorial government, countries where you can see all structures as being communist. It is even much more tough there. Recently, the ruler decided to open up the doors of North Korea to journalists. But at the end of the day, they said the journalists weren't allowed to move freely. They were only allowed to move to certain parts of North Korea. And I wouldn't blame them. You see, North Korea has learned from what happened in Libya. You see, Gaddafi would never have been killed. Libya would never have been destroyed if Gaddafi had not given up his nuclear arsenals. If he had kept it, America would not come close to him. Europe would not come close to him. Nothing would have happened. So, analysts have said that this man has learned from the mistakes of Gaddafi that you can never trust anybody. Do not give up your arsenal. And after Gaddafi did so, immediately, not too long, they came in as a friend and they struck Gaddafi and destroyed Libya. To today, Libya has not gotten itself right. So the killing of Gaddafi has not even put democracy, peace in Libya till today. The government there, we understand, has been dictatorial, but the killing of Gaddafi and the disbanding of the structures as it is has not put the lives. They are all over the place as migrants begging to stay in some other countries. And even in their country, it is still unstable. So I don't think that this man will want to give America that chance or any Western country that opportunity to invade North Korea by giving up his arsenal. So he said, yes, I'm going to set ablaze my arsenals and all of that. I don't want to have any nuclear weapon we can discuss. I think he only did that to show to America that I am not stupid. You are the stupid ones. How do you expect me to give up my arsenal when you are keeping your own arsenal and you claim that mine is not good with me, but you have all the empathy, intelligence, and smartness to make use of yours? That's an imbalance there. They said, this is a communist country, dictatorial government. It is not like that we have. So you cannot keep this. But a man decided to test one more of this weapon. And America kind of realized that it wasn't ready to give up any of its weapon. So here is the thing. If this man dies now, it's going to bring a huge change to the structure of things. But then they're already forecasting, the Western countries already forecasting that the sister of this man is even much more intelligent, much more younger, and someone that they believe will undo that country with an iron fist. Maybe much more than the brother. So there are a lot of issues there. So people are already analysts, political analysts, and international relations experts are already looking into what might happen in that region if this man passes on. And I think that they might decide to keep this secret. So who knows? Is this man dead or not? A lot of people are saying they are seeing death hovering around them. That is because the tradition of many Koreans, particularly the North Koreans, is that they feel guilty if they are not working. So they have to work even when they are sick. They have to keep working because it's like over time, the culture has been that way. So it's a terrible thing. They have to keep working all through. This is what I've come to realize studying the culture of the Koreans. So we don't know what exactly is on at the moment. They said the procedure to insert the stent into his heart, they say if he had a heart attack. Weekly newspaper Shukan Gendai claimed Kim was visiting the countryside when he clutched his chest and collapsed. A member of his entourage gave him CPR and escorted him to the hospital. Kim's health have been subjected to much speculation, with the dictator believed to weigh 20 stone while standing 5 feet 6 inches. This would give him a BMI of 44.9 and classification of morbidly obese. Intelligence service have claimed Kim is a prolific binge eater, drinker, and smoker, all have a major impact on his health, including report he has diabetes. I have heard about this diabetes long time when he came to study English in Europe. He has an alleged, they claim that he has an alleged legendary appetite. He eats a lot, gorging himself on Swiss cheese and other rich food while drinking as many as 10 bottles of wine in a night. And I don't think that is possible anyway for someone to take 10 bottles of wine. But these are the stories out there. This is a man that has kept himself off from the public. So I don't know how they got to realize that he can drink 10 bottles of wine. But if he has been doing this, I think this is not right. Now, the citizens of these countries have been reported to be going through hardship. You cannot leave the country. They are tied inside of the country. This is not a country where you can just fly into, or the citizens of that country fly out. Why? This is because over time, a lot of people have been trying to rush and call themselves out of that country. America playing their role, the Western countries playing their role in it to break North Korea. But they have not been able to do this as the country has been held strong. And many of them are not patriotic. Why? Because they believe that they deserve more. How can a family hold, when it is not monarchy, if it's a monarchy system like the one you find in the United Kingdom, it's a different thing. The Queen runs the United Kingdom somehow. But somehow also they've given room to a kind of democracy where they have a prime minister and they have the House of Commons, the House of Lords, and all of that to discuss certain things that has to do with the people. But nevertheless, the monarchy still has a huge role to play in decision, even though it is not made public. The Queen has a lot of pull in the United Kingdom. If this man decides to be a monarch, somehow crown himself and his family, then they have a democratic system. It will be different, but I don't think that will be possible, as they've come to realize that America is hell-bent, the West is hell-bent on breaking any system that they see might be too strong for them, particularly the ones that have communist background, particularly the ones that have dictators. Not that this country has any resources per se that they might want to get off from there, but it will do them good if they break that structure there and Asia becomes weak. I do not trust a dictatorial government that has a nuclear weapon, but nevertheless, I do not think that any country should have a nuclear weapon and not allow another country to also have theirs. What about taking advantage of this? We've seen this played over time, where the West takes advantage of these things and use the weapons that they have to threaten other countries and take advantage of them over time. We live in a very sad world. Rather than people coming up with things to benefit humanity, they're rather coming up with weapons. So right now, they're already calculating and forecasting what will happen in Asia if this man dies. It's terrible. Well, people are already saying that he's dead. They say they can see death hovering all over him, that the heart surgery is botched, and he is right now a vegetable. Dead, dead, dead. It's so terrible. This family have held on to North Korea for a very long time. I think it's time for the people to also break out and be free, but not at the detriment of their existence as people, not to become Libya or any other country without any clear-cut or productive life. In between trying to make people feel and experience human rights and freedom and all of that, we also have to consider what else, what are the impacts of some other things. I don't think North Koreans are happy. They are not. Life is not as easy as it is. Why? Because of the ruler, and also as a result of some certain punishment that has been given out to them. There are certain countries that do not trade with them. There are certain businesses they cannot do. And with this, they've been struggling. The world cannot operate, function without doing business with each other. So if a country is shut out of international business, sanction is being given, it's going to be difficult for that country to survive. But how do you trade with a country that does not at all respect its people, respect the citizens? If you trade with such countries, you are either empowering that regime. And if you do not trade with such countries, still you are not doing anything good to the people, because the people will end up suffering. So if you are in a position to proffer solutions to this complex story that I've just said to you, what would you do? Is it better to sanction a country that has a dictator, or is it better to come up with some other ways around it so the people, the citizens of those country do not suffer?